I'm gonna say something controversial. Because what's the point of struggling with your weight for a whole year if you can just get it done quick and be done with it? A lot of people want to lose fat sustainably. I have a lot of clients that tell me that they want to take their time and not get too overwhelmed, and that's totally fine. That's what I help them with in the gym. But I would be lying if I said that I didn't feel like a hypocrite every time I did that. Because if I woke up tomorrow and I was 20 kilos overweight, I would want to get rid of that weight as soon as I possibly could. I don't care what I'm gonna have to do. I'm gonna at least try my best to get it off me as fast as I can. And in this video, I'm gonna show you exactly how you can lose half or even 1 kilo every single week. Why would you want to take a year of not liking what you see in the mirror and make slow progress when you can just go all in for 3-6 months, get the results you want, and then maintain it for the long run afterwards? I would define sustainable fat loss from anywhere between 0 to half a kilo per week. All of that is still considered sustainable. What I'm going to talk about here is going to help you lose half to 1 kilo every single week. So enough talking. Let's get to it. 1 kilo of fat equates to about 7,700 calories. That means that we need to be in a deficit of about 1,000 calories per day in order to lose 1 kilo per week. And if you want to lose half a kilo per week, that's 500 calories a day. So everything I'm going to talk about, you can just divide by 2 if you want to choose to go for the half a kilo. And granted, you're also going to lose some water weight, so it's always going to be a little bit more as well. The most important thing is going to be your nutrition. So let's talk about that first. I want you to take your body weight in kilos, multiply that by 25. That's the amount of calories you're going to start eating, because that's the amount of calories that's going to match the amount of calories you're going to burn if you were to lie in bed the whole day and do absolutely nothing. That should be enough calories for that. Then through movement, we just want to create a bigger deficit and work up to 1,000 calories of deficit. Now for me, 80 times 25 would be about 2,000 calories. Now you want to make sure you're eating 2 grams per kilogram of body weight in protein per day, because that's going to help you preserve your muscle, and it's also going to make you feel more full, which is going to make the whole deficit a lot easier to sustain. The way to get more protein, of course, is to prioritize leaner protein sources like steak, chicken, fish, egg whites, cottage cheese, and maybe some lean pork. These sources will get you the most amount of protein with the least amount of fat and also calories. Then, of course, other than protein being your priority, we also want to eat a lot of vegetables. So for every meal, choose at least 1 to 2 vegetables. For example, let's say you've got the chicken as protein, you can choose broccoli or maybe broccoli and cauliflower, and fill up half of your plate with veggies, because it's going to give you more fiber to also help you feel full, improve your digestion, and it's going to give you a lot of vitamins and minerals to preserve your energy levels as you're going to be in a big calorie deficit. And believe it or not, this is going to make it a lot easier to eat less calories and still feel good. You can track your food using any food tracking app, for example, MyFitnessPal, or my favorite one, Yazio, which is a lot cheaper than MyFitnessPal, because with the premium version, it only costs about 20 euro for the whole year, and you can scan the barcodes from your local supermarket products. It's incredibly easy to use, and it even has a lot of recipes it can give you. To do this, you're gonna need a kitchen scale to weigh out your food. And okay, if you're eating out once here and there, you can just guesstimate. You can eyeball the food. Try to order ingredients that are separable. For example, the salmon or the steak, the rice, the salad, and you can kind of guess the quantities and how many calories you ate. It doesn't have to be perfect, but you're better off having an estimate of how much you ate than having no idea at all. So the few times that you eat out, it's okay, you can estimate it, but try to still eat at home for most of your meals. And if you really don't have time, subscribe to a meal prep service, because then you'll know exactly how many calories are in there and you don't need to do any cooking or cleaning. Next to that, you wanna make sure you stay hydrated and drink at least 2 to 4 liters per day. If you're a man, I would go towards 4. If you're a woman, I would go more towards 2 to 3. Now we want to use movement to create about another 800 to 1,000 calories in deficit. The way we're gonna do that is through NEAT, so non-exercise activity thermogenesis, meaning every form of activity that is not exercise and also exercise. First, let's talk about NEAT. 10,000 steps a day is going to be your new standard. Now, you don't have to do that in one go, which to be honest should take you about an hour approximately of walking, maybe an hour 15, but you could even split that up into 3 parts. So for example, 30 minutes in the morning, 30 minutes maybe lunch break, 30 minutes in the evening, that gets you an hour and a half. should get you to at least 10,000 steps. Now, you will probably burn around 400 calories, give or take, depending on your size. The exact number doesn't matter much. I'll explain why in a little bit. But it's gonna be around 400 calories. Parking further away, taking the stairs, walking when you have a phone call or a meeting that you don't need the camera for are all gonna add up. But if you reach the end of the day and that's still not enough, just go out and simply walk. If it's bad weather, use an umbrella. And lastly, you can always just go to the gym, hop on the treadmill, and get your steps in there. Or you could even order a treadmill pad at home or maybe a static bike. It's not going to count your steps, but it still counts as movement. You can also aim for an hour and a half of total movement if you don't have a step counter. Then let's talk about exercise. You probably work at least 40 hours a week for someone else, or you're studying 40 hours a week to work for someone else. And yet, a lot of people, when they're asked to exercise 1 hour per day for themselves, for their own health, so that they can be healthy, fit, confident, and be there for their family later on, somehow that's too much. Well, for the next few weeks, I challenge you to work out for 1 hour at least 6 days a week. You can take Sunday off, that's fine. But we still want you to hit the step goal on Sunday, and ideally closer to 15,000 instead of 10. Now, when it comes to training, we're gonna do 3 strength training sessions and 3 cardio sessions. When it comes to strength training, you wanna focus on compound lifts. So for example, you've got your squats, your hinges like a Romanian deadlift or a conventional deadlift. You've got your presses. We can do them horizontally like a chest press, vertically for the shoulders. And we've got the pulls, for example, the rows, seated rows, or vertical rows as well, like a lat pull down or a chin up. These are the main exercise you wanna spend most of your time on. Maybe work in rep ranges between 6 to 12 reps somewhere. Go to 15 if you want. And at the end, you can add in some core work or maybe work on your arms a bit more or address any imbalances that you have. That's totally fine. The strength session should take about an hour, and I would keep your breaks to 60 to 90 seconds. The gym is gonna play an incredibly important role in preserving your muscle mass, heightening your metabolism for the long term, and of course, if you only lose weight and you don't build muscle, you're not gonna have the result you're looking for. If you're not sure what to do or you need a program to follow, just send me a message. Then, when it comes to cardio, most people, when they think about cardio, they think they have to be dying for 1 hour straight, but that's not true. You're going to be doing what's called zone 2 cardio, meaning we want your heart rate to be about 60 to 70% of your max heart rate. A very quick, rough calculation you can do is take 220, subtract your age from 220, and what's left of that is your max heart rate. Well, we want to have about 60 to 70% of that. Now, you don't need the calculation. You will know you're in zone 2 when your heart rate is up while you're doing the cardio, and you can still have a conversation. If it gets to the point where talking becomes too difficult, that's when you know you're working at a higher zone. That's too much intensity. So I want you to tone it down a little bit, still work at a pace where you can still have a conversation like I'm doing right now, but maybe talking like I am in very long sentences, yeah, that should be a little bit more difficult. That's where the sweet spot will be for you. And you can also maintain that amount for 60 minutes. If you've got some work to do, maybe you can go to the gym, hop on a bike or on a treadmill or a cross trainer and still work on your phone, maybe your laptop, maybe just put on a podcast so you can actually learn something, or you can watch a video like this one. An example program would be Monday, Wednesday, Friday, you get your weights in. Then Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, you get your zone 2 cardio in for 60 minutes, which you can do again on a treadmill, you can do it outside, you can do it on a bike, a rower, whatever floats your boat. And if you really hate cardio, well, just find a sport that you enjoy doing. But to be honest, even though sports are a great way to get your cardio in, cardio is a necessary part for every human being who wants to live long and healthy. So if you approach it with a different mindset of maybe relaxing more while you're doing it and clearing your head after a long day of work, it might be a bit more doable for you. And I promise you, once you stick to it for a few weeks and you're seeing the progress and you're seeing your endurance improve and yourself getting leaner, trust me, you'll start to like it. Now, the last area you're going to burn more calories is going to be the thermic effect of food, meaning that some foods burn more calories than others simply by digesting them. For example, up to 30% of calories consumed from protein can be burned for the digestion, which is just another reason why eating more protein helps you lose weight easier. 1 gram of protein has 4 calories. So if you eat 200 grams of protein per day, that's 800 calories from protein. And if you take just 15% of that to be conservative, that's an extra 120 calories that you can burn per day simply by eating protein. Now we've covered nutrition and tracking, weights, cardio, daily movement. Let's not forget about sleep. For the next 12 weeks, I want you to make sleep an absolute priority, getting at least 7 to 8 hours per night. The evening routine is more important than your morning routine because winding down 2 to 3 hours before bed is really gonna set you up for a good night's sleep, which is gonna set you up for a productive day the next day. Also, if you're not sleeping well, losing fat is gonna be like swimming upstream. You're gonna have more cravings for sugar and fatty foods, less energy, you'll be in a worse mood, and it's gonna make things a lot more complicated. It is the first of the domino pieces. If that falls, all the rest is gonna come crumbling down. So make sure you get at least 7 to 8 hours. You want your room to be cold. Don't eat any big meals ideally 3 hours before. And do an activity before bed that's gonna actually help you calm down. Maybe like reading, meditating, even watching something on Netflix with some blue light glasses or a blue light filter. And make sure it's a TV and not a phone or a laptop, because the smaller the screen, the more of an impact it will have on your melatonin receptors and decrease your sleep quality for that night. The next most important thing, other than the total amount of hours and your evening routine, is your consistent sleep schedule. So ideally, you don't want to deviate more than an hour per day. If you wake up at 6 Monday through Friday, max wake up at 7 on the weekends. Trust me, your day is gonna feel a whole lot longer as well. Last but not least, supplements. Protein powder is gonna help you reach your protein intake, help you feel more full, build muscle, and preserve the calorie deficit to help you lose fat. Creatine, I would recommend every day to improve your performance in the gym, give you some more energy, and it also has some cognitive benefits. And if you're going to be training a lot more than you're used to, also some magnesium. Make sure it's forms that don't end in "ide" but in "ate", like malate, taurate, and bisglycinate. A complex of these 3 forms in one pill would work really well. And if you're in a country with not much sun, like the Netherlands, also vitamin D. Now we've talked a lot about numbers and about how many calories you would burn by doing strength training and walking, but we really don't need to get too nitty-gritty about that. Here's why. Once you eat the amount of calories I recommended to you, so take your body weight in kilos multiplied by 25, that's how much you're gonna eat every day, at least 2 grams per kilogram of body weight in protein every day, 10,000 steps at least, and 1 strength training session or cardio session every day except Sunday. Then every single day, the first thing you're gonna do when you wake up is weigh yourself for 2 reasons. 1, your weight will fluctuate a lot on a daily basis because of fluid levels. So by knowing your weight every day, we can take the average and know exactly what your weight was that week, and we can look at it on a week-to-week basis. The second reason is if you start your day by looking at your weight, you're setting yourself up to drive that number down. If you never weigh yourself and you have no idea, good luck at losing weight. They've even done studies on this where they showed that people who weigh themselves every day got better and faster results compared to people that weigh themselves less often, like once a week or even less often. The reason for this is because you're being reminded by the number every day, it influences the decisions you make on a daily basis. If you never look at your weight, you don't really care if you're gonna have an extra burger or fries. If you're looking at it every day and it's not going down and you want it to go down, or it's going down and you want to keep it that way, it's going to help you make the right decision. In addition to weighing yourself every day, you're going to take a waist measurement once per week. So you're going to go to a mirror, put it around your belly button, the height of your belly button, look in the mirror, make sure it's straight, and note down that measurement. Then you can also do it for your waist here, so the smallest part of your waist, and that way you can have 2 touch points, or you can just use the belly button one. Feel free to also add any other measurements you like the biceps in a flex position right here, or maybe the hips or the chest. Now, by looking at what happens to your average weight over the whole week and also your waist, you can know exactly how much progress you're making on a week-to-week basis. And even if you don't lose half a kilo or a kilo that week, I promise you that by doing all of this, you will at least see a reduction in waist size, because if you end up gaining some muscle mass or holding more water, yes, you will see a bit of a less weight reduction. But to be honest, if you do the 10,000 steps, the workouts, and stick to the calorie goal, you will be seeing weight loss every single week. I guarantee it. Now, if you're watching this and you think this is crazy, or I could never do that, or I don't have time, or whatever, I'm asking you to make a commitment to yourself, not to me, to yourself, for the next 90 days. 1 year has 365 days. Your whole life is gonna have a lot more days. What's 90 days compared to your whole life? It is a fraction of time that I'm asking you to enter a season of no, saying no to other things so that you can say more yes to yourself. 90 days of hard work and consistency is all it's gonna take to transform your body and your health. And then after that, once you've lost the weight and you're at a good point where you wake up and you feel good about yourself, about what you see and how you feel, then you can look at developing a routine that you can maintain over the long run. If you want to learn all of my strategies to lose fat, build muscle, and build a body that you're proud of without needing a gym pump or the perfect lighting, you can go to the description, press the link where it says 31 days, leave your email there, and I'll send everything to you. It's only gonna be a 2-minute read per day for the next 31 days, and it's completely for free. On the other hand, if you want some more help with your training and nutrition to make it easier for you, and you could use some daily and weekly accountability, I've also put a link in the description where you can start working with me one-on-one right away.